is a 2010 Mercedes 313 Sprinter camper conversion. It's an off-the-grid vehicle. It's a wood burner, gas water heater, electric heater, 2 windows in the side, one with a sliding opening. And on one side, kept it looking like a van, which actually works out very well if you were to park in car parks. That way you don't attract any unwanted attention by looking like a camper van. Let's be honest, it is 2010. The bodywork is not perfect, but it's actually genuinely pretty presentable. All the tyres are good, ready to go. It sailed through the last MOT. So let's start in the cab. Anyone who's familiar with Mercedes-Benz will know that these vehicles are good for 500,000 miles. Everything's pretty conventional, to be honest. The only slight difference, if you've not driven one of these vans before, or Mercedes generally, the reverse tends to be over by the second gear, and you pull up the gate on the underneath, and then it slides in quite nicely. Sort of really nice radio, and we've also got a reversing camera. So down here by the handbrake is a little switch. Flick the switch and it gives you your reversing camera here. Now the idea is it's not a rear view mirror. This is more to see whether you're going to hit anything that's right behind you. So if you're backing up against something. Then we'll just turn it off to finish up. We'll get the engine running. So I've probably done 300-400 miles in this vehicle, and genuinely everything is absolutely spot on. These vans are good for between 25 and 40 to the gallon, depending on how you drive them. Everything is tip top, ready to go. Here's the engine. Video cameras never really pick up a very good true reflection on what engines sound like in real life. They always sound a little bit battery or whatever, but I can promise you she is absolutely spot on. Down here, this key is an electrical key. If I were to push it in and turn it downwards, now I have connected the battery that is being generated, the power is generated by the engine, which is underneath this floor pan here, is now connected to my leisure batteries that live underneath the seat. So if ever I need to top up my leisure batteries, because my solar panels, it's a dull day or whatever, and I can just switch this switch, the power will be linked to the engine's car battery straight into my leisure battery. Now I don't want to keep this switch over all the time because you actually are putting stress on your alternator, which is why we've got the solar panel system. The components for that are up here. This is the regulator. Energy goes into the regulator down to the batteries. Now at night time, while it's not producing power, if we didn't have that regulator, electricity would go back into the solar panel. We'd find ourselves with no power whatsoever. Under the main passenger seat, just lift the front up, and then it just lifts forwards like that. Here we've got our leisure batteries, so 2 very sizable leisure batteries there. We can seal the cabling. It's all very, very obvious, so if you ever need to do any maintenance, it could not be simpler how this has been put together. And you can see the incredible gauge of the cabling going from these leisure batteries to our 3000 watt inverter that's in the back. All of the components that are in the back of the van, all of the operation manuals are all kept in a glove box. Along with your Mercedes-Benz pack in there as well. You've also got quite a lot of other storage spaces down by the side of the doors here, and underneath this seat here is completely empty. And then on top of the sun blinds, you've also got nice cubby holes up there, somewhere for your sunglasses. It's worth mentioning that you've got 6 gears, very easy if you're used to a 5-gear car, just to be driving along in 5th for miles. You get much better MPG if you pop it into 6th. So we can see on the clock, currently has done 218,000. These vehicles are good to go for 500,000, so I'm sure by the time we get to 500,000 miles we'll all be on hoverboards. You've also got a cruise control on this, very simple to operate. Pull it towards you to set the speed, and then knock it up to go a bit faster, knock it down to go a bit slower, and it couldn't be any easier than that. Push it forwards, just knocks it off. All of your controls are all on the one stalk on a Mercedes, very easy to work out, and you've got the radio and your menu buttons on the steering wheel as well. All of the windows are electric, and your light switch is over here. Okay, so as we go into the back of the vehicle, initially we're presented with our way in. So we've got to step up into the back, and the first thing we come across is our wood burner. Now then, the wood burner, super easy to use. Most of the time you're simply loading logs and wood into the top, and you'll probably be lighting it somewhere near the bottom. Now it's very, very important not to have a big fire. Now, although it has been tested with being totally full with kindling and seriously got as hot as it's ever going to get, and no damage has occurred, it is not worth making this thing really, really hot. So here's the wood burner. We're going to be lighting it from the bottom, and once it's lit, we're just going to close the bottom up. Now there's not really any need to have anything that's fire resistant on the floor, because you're always going to be loading the fire up from this top hatch, and the chances of anything spitting out from there onto the floor is very unlikely. Once you've got it going, then just put a few lumps of coal in there and keep topping the coal up throughout the evening, and you should find that that will keep you going all night. So as we look up, the chimney has been coated in exhaust wrap. It's the same stuff that we use on motorbike exhausts to keep the heat away from people's bodies, and then we can see our chimney working quite nicely up there. You could also put a pot on the top and cook on the pot if you wanted to. Once the fire's died down a little bit, it would be possible to put in there an oven tray and rest an oven tray at the back of the fire, and then use the fire as an oven also if you were wanting to live totally off the grid. Up here we see we've got a fire extinguisher close to hand, ready to go. As we move around a little bit further, this is our solar panel control center, and it tells us how much power we've got in our batteries. Up here we've got a roof vent, so the fire did get a little bit warm for you and you wanted to let out a little bit of excess heat, you've got this. It's got a fly screen on it as well, so you can pretty much keep that partly open all the time for just a general ventilation. It just screws up and screws down to open and close it. Over here we've got a gas water heater. This is very, very similar to what you would get in a house, albeit just smaller. Now it is an on-demand gas water heater, so there's no tank with hot water in it. And under here we've got a little switch. If we turn that little switch on, there's batteries in this grey bit here. So once we've finished using it, the batteries and the switch simply activate the boiler so that it sparks up. So in the cupboard underneath the sink is your electric and your pump house. It's all in one place, and it's all very easy to maintain because it's very accessible. The pumps that we're using are the best quality pumps that we could buy. You should not have any issues with these pumps whatsoever. They are operated with a pressure switch, so when the pressure in front of the pump that's been pushed will activate the pressure switch and turn the switches off. So let's explain what's actually happening here. You will see that there is two pumps. This one over here is connected to your rear tanks with 150 litres in those tanks. This central one is connected to the central tanks. There's 50 litres in there. So your 150 litre rear tanks are your main tanks, with your mid tanks being your reserve. The other pipe that we can see here, so we've got three pipes going in. So we've got rear tanks, mid tanks, and then this is the hose pipe feed. If you're parked up and you have access to a hose pipe, you can connect this underneath the vehicle, and now you've got continuous hose pipe feed into your water system. Now the thing with these pumps is, when the water runs out, they are going to carry on running because there's now no pressure to stop them running. So both of them have isolator switches on. If I switch that on there, we just heard it, the pump just take the pressure up and then stop working. Now when I go to operate my tap, my pump is now running and my tap is now working, and I can mix it to hot water or cold water. One pump does both hot and cold. Both pumps are connected to that same system, both hot and cold. When your main tanks run out, you'll find that this pump will carry on running. So at that stage we are going to turn that pump off, and we're then going to use our reserve 50 litre tank here by turning the 50 litre pump on, and that gives us a last final bit of reserve water as a backup. It might also be that if in the future you had a physical breakdown with your main pump, that you've effectively got a spare one right there ready to go, just for sake of undoing the quick fixings that these pumps have and then replacing it. So let's say you are in a situation where you want to use your pumps and use your onboard water that you've got stored, which is what we've just been talking about. You need to have your main pump, your main tank on. You also need to have the main tank tap on as well. If it's in line with the pipe, it's on. If it's at 90 degrees across the tap, it's off. Okay. You've got exactly the same thing with your mid tank. We've got the on-off switch here. We've got for the power to the tank pump. We've got the on-off for the water. Now at the same time, you need to ensure that the feed for the hose pipe inlet is turned off. Now it's the same thing really. Horizontal is off, followed by straight up and down with the pipe is on. Now what we just noticed there is, with this turned on, if I turn on a pump, I'm actually pushing water all the way through the system back down to the outside now. So I need to turn my pumps off. I also need to make sure that the pressure doesn't flow back down through both of the pumps. And how I do that is I'm going to turn off each pump. So now the pressure of the water that's coming up through my hose pipe feed is now going into my system and operating the system in the same way as the pumps are. But I need to make sure the water doesn't come back down both pumps and start filling up my tanks, and I turn them both off. So now I've left the situation where I had hose pipe access, and I'm now going to hit the road. I can disconnect my hose pipe from underneath. I'm going to turn off the inlet to that, so that's now isolated that pipe. I then also need to turn back on my pumps, the water for my pumps. Okay, and now I can turn on whichever pump I need to use. So generally speaking, I'm going to use my rear tank. And I'm going to leave this one on, and I'm going to leave my mid tank off, so that when this one runs out, it will carry on running. I won't have any water coming through my taps. I can turn that tank off, and then I can use my reserve water over here, which is in my 50-litre tanks, and that will give me a little bit longer. For the shower running at full speed, which you have to have in order to have enough pressure in the hot water boiler to activate that, then you must have the tap on full flow. You cannot have it on part flow. So if you're running off water tanks, then I suggest that your showers, you could have one long shower for 11 minutes, or you can make it last for a very long time just by simply getting yourself wet with hot water, turning it off, lather up, and then rinsing it down. And you're just going to be much more conservative with your water usage. In this same area as well is all your electrics. It's all professionally wired in, and if I had access to an external power source, I can lift up this little hole in the door, in the floor, and I can then take my power lead and I can pop that through the hole in the floor. At the moment, the power lead is connected to the 3000 watt inverter. Now that lives down here. We can see it in there. This power lead is currently running up, and then it goes into this cupboard and comes back out and is actually the other end of this gang plug here. So onto this, which is currently being powered by the inverter, you've got your microwave, your toaster, and then this red one is the rear socket back here if you wanted to run a television or the electric heater. This other plug, you see on top of the gang there it says fridge. This will run your fridge. Now this is fridge on, this is fridge off. Just here we've got the LPG detector. This is on a permanent feed to the battery. We always need to see the green light is turned on. And down here we've got the carbon monoxide detector. This is on batteries. If any of these should go off, the only way to reset this one is it's going off because you've got gas leak. So you just need to clear the air inside it, blow inside it to clear it out. The carbon monoxide detector, you could also take the batteries out temporarily till it calmed down. And this is the roof space. So here's the outlet for my wood burner, and I've got my air vent on the top, and over there is the ventilation for the gas hot water. And then I've got this huge solar panel in the middle. I do have in fact a little bit more real estate up here that I could use to put another smaller solar panel if I needed to. However, this one should give you most of what you require most of the time. I do have a LED light strip, little button there, and as you can see that lights up quite nicely down the middle of the van, living space. And we can also as well change the colours in here. as we see fit basically, and it does a whole load of other things. This is removable, so you could be lying in bed and turn the lights on and off. There's also a second one of these in the cab, so you've got two of them. Let's go over to the fridge. Here's our fridge. It's a heat convection fridge. Very, very simple. We need to be honest, if we use our leisure batteries to run our fridge, the batteries are not going to last very long. It's much better to be used when you're on a hookup, or if you're driving and you can use the extra power from the car engine to keep the batteries topped up. It is in fact also a gas fridge, however the gas is not connected up. We've not found it particularly reliable, and sometimes the clicker is not particularly forthcoming and doesn't really work very well. Now in here we can see that we've got our inverter. Just by the green light there is the switch. If we overload the inverter, or there's not enough power in the batteries, the inverter will make some horrible squawking noises, and the way to reset it is to turn it on and off. It's also a good idea to turn it off when you don't need it. It's only going to be using more power, and all we do there is we reach in through this hole, and where the little green light is, there's a switch there, and there's a two-stage rocker. We rock it into the centre to turn it off. Here's your gas canister strapped down. Very easy to get in and out, lots of space there. Always a good idea to put something on the floor so that you don't scrape it across the nice new floor. Underneath here, this is a little space for some logs for your wood burner. So the kitchen largely has been created to incorporate enough space to work on, and also to have the view through our window. We've also got an opening here, and this particular window at the kitchen end is a blacked out window, which is hard to see and easy to see out. The window at the back of the van is completely clear, which is quite nice. We'll talk about the breakfast bar in a moment. Over here we've got our gas hob. All of this is all brand new. We just simply turn the switch, hit the clicker, and as you can see, we've now got some flames ready to go. Underneath the microwave and the toaster, we've got this bit of storage space. Inside there we've got a shelf, all your pots and pans or some other storage as well, and then underneath that shelf and through the other access we have a hoover with a which is a full stand-up hoover, but it has the handle can take off, so you can put it into the cupboard. And then in here we've got the legs for our breakfast bar. So I'm currently sat on the bed, which converts into a seat, and this is our breakfast bar window. We've also got another power socket up here, which is connected up to our leisure batteries. So you could easily put a TV up in the corner there if you wish. You can also use this electric heater if you're hooked up to some mains power, and run that lead up into this socket. To create our breakfast bar, it's quite easy. It just hinges up. It's in two halves, and underneath here you'll see a screw, and all we're doing is we just screw our legs into place. The reason the breakfast bar is collapsible is so that you can put your motorbike in here, which is what we'll show you in a minute. Once we've created our breakfast bar, we can then go into this little side cupboard, undo the latch at the top and the bottom, collapse the stalls to put them back in the cupboard, just pull the little ring on the side and then they will start to collapse. You may find that the little stall works very well as a seat while you're cooking and preparing food. So in the cupboard next to the shower is also the ladder for getting up onto the top bunk. And you've got extra lights up here, all ready to go. The one in the corner there, so everyone's independent with their own illumination without disturbing anyone with a lot of light in the area. This ladder then slots back in to that cupboard, and that's where all your stalls live as well, in the cupboard next to the shower. So at the moment the bed is in the single bed stroke seating position. The top bunk is in the sleeping position. This is also could be used for storage if there's just two of you. Now it's all on a hinge, so if you feel like you need a bit more space, you undo these bolts in the corner of the beds, just by the mattress, and then you can push the bed up and then slot those same bolts into the holes. There's a lower one and a higher one, so that's in the higher position right now. And now when I sit down in my chair, it's almost as if the bunk is not above me anymore, and it gives me a greater feeling of space. The reason things are black is because that also gives you a much greater feeling of space, although to be honest there is an awful lot of space in the back here. Slide that back down, put the catches back in, and then it's locked in place ready for travel. Underneath the bunk got a lot of storage space. So these drawers slide out, and then you've literally got all that space underneath the bunk for storage. This is also, at the back there, is where you would store for travel the electric heater when you're not needing it. So if you want to create a double bed down here, first job is to use the back of the chair. So to make a double bed, how I do that is I pull my drawers out, I take the back of the bed, or the back of the seat that was against there, and I put it into place. I'm then going to slide my drawers in until everything lines up. Now I've got my double bed configuration. If someone still needed to get into the top bunk, then they would put the ladder on this boarding here into place against the side and then still be able to get in and out. Next up we've got the shower and toilet area. You see here we've got an enormous mirror and a towel hook and a little sign saying always use the shower curtain. It's very important. Up here we've just got more push fit lights, and we've got our ventilation. We've got a huge hotel room style shower there, and then you're obviously more conventional shower. You've got 11 minutes of running time of water in a 150 litre tank. So if you're using the tanks, then the clever thing to do is to get wet, lather up, turn it off, and then rinse it off to try to conserve as much water as possible. If external feed, then obviously you can knock your boots off. The Portaloo is brand new and is held into place with this strap that runs around the outside. Now you can in fact move this wherever you like. It might not be in the right place for you for showering, but you can undo the latch and move it wherever you want. It comes ready to go with some chemicals ready for operation. We need to use the shower curtain. The shower curtain is going to stop any water coming out through the door, so that's quite important. But for the purpose of this test, I think we're okay. So the hot is all the way over to this side, and we need to have this running at absolute full speed. The reason being that it requires, the hot water heater requires full pressure in order to operate. We can also switch from the big tropical rainstorm type shower to the other shower by using this knob here. That's already coming through nice and hot as we speak, so it only takes a little while to come through hot. All of the pipes are completely insulated, so it should be quite easy to turn the tap on and off without the water cooling down. And we'll just demonstrate it moving from one shower to the other. It's a really nice flow on these showers. You will actually have a pretty luxurious shower. Turn the tap off, the pressure stops, or pressure builds, and then the pressure switch stops for the pump. So the blinds are really easy. It's the same on the front as in the back. They just roll down. So you'll see there full blackout blinds, so anyone who likes to sleep with it being fairly dark, this is ideal for you. There's a spare light switch there as well. And we just tuck the ends of them in there just to hold it against the curvature of the van. But exactly the same over the front window by the kitchen. What you're going to discover is that in the daytime it's very hard to look inside this window, but at night time with lights on people can see straight through this, so you'll use the blinds quite a lot. Okay, we're now currently underneath the van looking at all the water tanks. Now, all the water tanks have their own access hatches for cleaning if that was necessary, although I don't think it ever will. All the pipes are insulated, and what we're going to do now is we're going to fill up the water into the water tanks. Now what you'll see here is a gang of water hose pipes. They're all feeding into the various different tanks. We've got our hose pipe running, ready to go, and all we're going to do is click it into place, and that is now actually filling up our water tanks. So now as we move into the back of the van, we'll be able to see the progress of how much water is going in. We'll lift out this round circle that's been cut out the floor, and we can look directly down into one of the water tanks. They're all connected together, so the level should in theory be very, very similar. The bit that I'm pressing here, this is physically the top of the tank. So when water starts to get to the top of this and even overflow on this pipe, then you know you're full. You can also check this level is how you see how much water you've got. It's always a good idea to put the plastic cover back over the top, keep out any dirt in there, and then pop back your seal, although I don't think you're really going to get any dirt into that space. The other telltale sign that your tanks are completely full is when every single tank, these that are at the back and the ones that are at the front, are all overflowing. That way you know you've got maximum. That way you know you've got maximum capacity. So we're now coming to the very centre of the van, where we've got utilities. So your extension lead power would fall out by these pipes as well. This green one, this is your water feed in. So on the inside, when we showed you earlier the pumps, this is your hose pipe in. All the connections are here, ready to go. You can use whichever ones work best for you. This particular pipe here, this is connected to this tank here. This is your sink waste pipe. Now you have two options here. You can either just allow the water to run into the tank and out onto the floor, or you could connect a hose pipe to this and have that water running into a drain. Or if you were in a place where you had to store the water for a short time, you could simply turn this off by screwing it up, and that will stop your water from coming out, and then you can empty it when you get to a convenient spot. Now come round to the other side of the van, and a little bit further towards the back of the van this time. You'll see that we've got another water storage tank. Now this storage tank is for the wastewater for the shower. Now in the same way as on the other side, we've got the pipe coming out, and it ends up finishing at one of these standard hose pipe connections. Again, if you were parked up for a while, you could connect a hose pipe to this and run it into a drain, or if you're in a place where you need to be a bit more discreet, you can hold it in the holding tank for 25 litres and then empty it at your discretion. To be quite honest, with wastewater from your sink and your shower, just simply having it run onto the floor is literally not going to make any difference. So I'm now getting ready to put the motorbike in. I've laid my carpet tiles down so I don't damage my floor and get that dirty. Now I've got a number of anchor points. I've got one here at the back underneath this little bit of carpet, and I've got another one up here at the front, and then I've got a sideways anchor point which is tucked in down underneath the hot air heater. So the bike's now in the back of the van. It's pretty easy, just ride it up the ramp, and you've got your various different ties. One's going underneath the bench, one is forwards just under the cupboard there, and then I've run this one back to another tie back at the back there, just for demonstration purposes, but that would keep the bike quite happy. And you could even still sleep in here. Your top bunk still's usable, your single bed down below still usable, and then you'd have to take it out if you wanted your double bed. This bike comes with the van. It's as we can see, a V-Reg, a GSX F750. It's MOT'd, it's got a brand new chain and sprocket, tyres are all good. Condition of the bike is genuinely fantastic, and it's a really nice bike. Very good for touring. If you do not want the bike, then it's £700 off the total price.